everybody, welcome back to the channel as I continue my week-long look at some of the latest Marvel Legends offering. And today I'm going to be turning my attention to the deluxe release that is the Winged X-Man Angel. And if we start off by taking a look at the packaging, you will notice that, of course, we're seeing the return of the plastic window display that has been missing for about a year, 18 months now. So this will please a lot of fans. It is really nice to have this window display because it makes them really displayable in their packaging for those who don't like to remove their action figures from the packaging. I think this looks really good. It is obviously very, very bright and colourful. The colours of the costume really jump out here. In terms of this packaging, we've seen this kind of packaging before with their deluxe figures, so it's a little bit broader that you normally get for a typical release, but it is sort of the same kind of height. It looks pretty good, mostly just black borders. It is really just the window display, but we do have a really nice chunky X-Men logo there, which makes this look pretty colourful and fun. If we flip it and look at the side panels, we can see this really nice, I think it's newly commissioned artwork of the Angel here. This is the same on both sides and it looks really good. You can put this on your shelf in line with your other figures and it make a quite colourful display in its own right. And then if we look at the reverse of the packaging, we have another image here of the Angel looking really, really cool. Again, this is very displayable. This looks really, really nice. And then on the right-hand side, we have a little bit of blurb about the character. So this is pretty presentable. I think this looks really nice however you choose to display it. The reason this figure is deluxe, of course, is all about those wings, which are pretty massive. Now, we've had Angel figures in the past, but not quite on this scale when it comes to the wingspan that we're about to see. And as near as I can tell, this looks to be a brand new head sculpt for Warren Worthington III, the Angel. This looks really good too. I think they've done a nice job of this. This definitely seems to have captured the essence of the character, and I really like the paint tabs that we've got on the face. You'll even notice there's some dots actually around the cheeks and beneath the eyes there to make this look a lot more authentic and more realistic. And they're doing something lately with the eyes that just looks really realistic and it's quite impressive. So I think there's a lot of different colours here around the eyebrows. There's browns, there's reds, there's blues and of course yellows, and this looks really very effective. In terms of the body sculpt, there's nothing really new here. This has just been recycled from other figures. I'm pretty sure we've seen this on several Captain Americas in the past. So there's nothing really new to talk about. In terms of the detailing, of course, it is all just painted in. So the halo and the white gloves and the gauntlet, etc., they are all painted in. They are not sculpted in. I think you can tell that. Sadly, where the white paint has gone over the red plastic, you can kind of see the red underneath, so it makes it look a little bit off-white, and it doesn't quite sync up with the brilliant white of the white plastic they've used on the legs or on the hands, so it looks a little bit noticeable, which is a shame. But other than that, this looks pretty good. I think it works quite nicely in contrast between the red and the white, and I think it looks really good. Again, there's no real paint wash running through this or shading. Would have made a big impact when it comes to the texturizing, so it's a shame we don't have that. But otherwise, this works perfectly well. But of course, with this figure, it's all about the wings. That's what makes this deluxe after all. And I have to say, they've done a really nice job. Of course, the wings fold in and they also fold out, as you would expect. And the detailing here is really nice. They put a lot of effort into these wings. The sculpting is really good, but of course, they've capitalized on this by giving it a number of different washes to really draw out some of the details. So we can see all the fine detail when it comes to each individual feather and the different types of feathers and layers. And it looks really good against that base sort of beige plastic with the white paint on top of it, laid above it. Just gives it that little bit more sense of depth, which is really needed. And I think this looks really quite effective. And it's worth taking a moment just to appreciate the wingspan on these wings, because it looks really good, and it's actually surprisingly effective. And considering it's made of a light plastic, they're fairly heavy when layered together. But to be fair, this figure's had absolutely no issues standing freely without the support of an aid or of any kind of stand or anything like that, which is really cool. And I think they've worked this out very nicely. So top marks for this. I think the wings work really well, and it's great that they've managed to put a figure that's so perfectly balanced that he's not going to fall over every time they're fully spread out like this. Looking at the articulation, he does have a ball joint at the top of the neck, so his head can spin all the way around. It kind of wobbles left and right, but I wouldn't say you can really pose it. He does have a nice hinge joint though that allows the head to really bend forwards and back at huge extremes, which is brilliant. He does have ball joints in the shoulders, of course. The arms will lift up and out. There's the complementary bicep swivel and a double joint at the elbow, allowing that lower forearm to go right the way back to the head there, which is great to see. Then he has a pin swivel at the wrist, allowing the hand to rotate all the way around and hinge forwards and backwards. He has a straight swivel at the waist, allowing the figure to move from side to side, and of course there is also an ab crunch there in the centre of the torso, allowing the figure to bend forwards and backwards in quite extreme positions, which is great when you have a flying figure like this. He also has ball joints in the hips, allowing those legs to kick out to the side. There is the thigh swivel at the top there as well. The legs will kick forwards, they'll kick backwards. There's a double joint at the knee, allowing that lower leg to kick all the way back. And then finally, we have the ankle pivot, allowing that foot to hinge forwards and backwards, but also rock from side to side. He's a little bit light in the accessories department. He does come with an additional pair of open palm hands and an alternate smiling head. And to be fair, I think that's all you really need for this character. He's not a character that carries any gadgets or anything like that, so I think we've actually got enough here to create actually a number of different looks for this character when you put him on display. And I think it works really, really well. I think the only thing that would have been nice if they'd actually included a display stand so you could actually have him in a flying pose. That would have been really, really cool. But of course, I'm sure the vast majority out there will already have that kind of equipment. And he looks absolutely fantastic when he's on display, I have to say. I can't really fault him. I think they've done a really, really nice job with this figure. So for me, I'm happy to give this figure 5 stars. He is really deluxe in the sense that he's just got such a huge pair of wings. And he just looks so good when he's on display. He looks absolutely massive. I think they've done a really, really nice job with this figure. And it's high time we had another classic Angel figure, because I don't think we've had one for, well, since the Toy Biz years, I don't believe. So this is really nice to have this updated version of the character. I think they've done a really good job with him, and I can't really fault them. Definitely, if you're an X-Men fan and you like Angel, then you've definitely got to pick this one up. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, and remember to subscribe, as there'll be plenty more videos soon.